Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lucia and this is Lulu's Leaves.
I'm no good at being good, but I never said I was. And I feel misunderstood cause I'm trying hard to love.
Today I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about a controversial topic, and that is my least favorite plants of 2020. And when I talk about my least favorite plants, this is kind of combining plants that just don't like me back, plants that I think are overrated, and plants that just straight up gave me trouble this year. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, please stick around. If you guys aren't already subscribed, definitely click that button down below so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. And if you enjoy this video, you can also give it a thumbs up. If you would like to gain access to some extra content and join a group chat with some awesome plant friends, definitely check out the link in my description to become a member. And if you want some Lulu's Leaves merch, it's also down there below in the description. I'm sorry that was a lot, but I definitely want to give you guys all the information. I do want to give you guys a little bit of a warning. This list is probably not one that you're going to expect. One of my wish list plants is actually on this, but I have an explanation, so don't you worry. But with that being said, let's get straight on into today's video, guys. The first plant on this list, I'm sorry, is the Philodendron Pink Princess. If you guys don't agree with me, that is totally fine. And I also want to say, this does not include plants that are highly variegated. I have a problem with the pink princesses that are basically brown and not even a nice brown, and they're being sold for hundreds of dollars. I can't get behind that because there are so many other plants that for that price would make me so much happier. And I had a pink princess that I traded. I bought it for $10 at the beginning of this year. And now that plant would probably sell for $60 to $100 at that size. So I don't know what to say about this plant. I just don't think it's very pretty. I think that there are better plants to spend your money on, and it's also not a stable variegated plant. So if you lose that pink color, it could very easily never come back. I have seen instances where the plant has had 4 brown leaves and then put out one that was variegated, but it doesn't happen often. So definitely if you're going to buy one, make sure that the top few leaves are variegated, or at least every other leaf is variegated, because you don't want to get yourself into a situation where you pay a lot of money for a reverted plant. So that's my 2 cents about the Philodendron Pink Princess. Let's move on. Next up, I will actually talk about the plant that is on my wish list, but also on my plants I hated in 2020 list. So that is the Philodendron Melanocrysom. But I feel like I did speak on this and why I didn't like the Melanocrysom that I had. It was really, really struggling to put out proper leaves. In the beginning, it had 2, I would say, decent sized leaves, not anything big. It was definitely still juvenile, but they weren't this big. They were probably about this big. And eventually I did put it on a moss pole, but those leaves started to come out really, really tiny. And I mean like this small. And they would also come out ripped. I know you guys know, if you guys have climbing philodendrons, I know that climbing philodendrons can do some contortions coming out of their sheaths. So that is what was happening, but I just can't get behind that. I was giving it plenty of humidity and it was still doing that. So that's kind of why I want a more mature specimen, because I find that with more mature plants, you don't get as much of that bending, or it's a little bit easier to help them out even if they do. And because it's a larger plant, the petioles are also larger, so they're less likely to snap off if it's doing some contortion, if you know what I mean. I definitely still want my larger Melanocrysom, which I'm actually getting this weekend. Quick, I know. But I did mention that I had a lead, and that is working out. So I'm very, very excited about that. I will have a whole video of me hauling that plant for you guys. But yeah, the smaller version of it definitely gave me some trouble. So to each their own. If you have one and you can keep it happy and it's not breaking leaves and coming out with tiny leaves, that's great for you. I'm super happy because I think the plant is absolutely beautiful. But it just, at that size, did not work out for me. The next plant on this list, I don't even know why I hate it so much, but I just do, and I'm sorry because it's a beautiful plant, but I just can't. I am talking about the Monstera Peru. Again, I think it's a beautiful plant, which is, I don't know, controversial. I don't know. The problem that I have with it is the fact that everyone wanted it. To my understanding, inside of a home, this plant doesn't get any crazy fenestrations or anything like that. It basically just stays in the form that you get it in, and I don't think the leaves get much larger than that. I could be completely wrong. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never seen a mature Monstera Peru. So I don't know. I don't know where to go with that one. It's very pretty in its state, but if it doesn't get any fenestrations other than those tiny little holes that it'll put out sometimes, I don't know that I'm super interested in it. And it's also a very slow grower and also is very difficult to root and propagate. So plants that aren't easy to propagate are not usually easy to grow. I've had lots of people have issues with rot, but if you do have one, my suggestion is just to wait till it's bone dry and then water it. It's not a thin-leaved plant, so it can definitely handle a little bit of neglect in the water department. That's all I'm going to say about the Monstera Peru. I don't want to get hating on it, but that's just my personal opinion. The next plant on this list is the Medula Pothos. This is a plant that I think also is very beautiful, but is completely overrated. To me, it looks very similar to a Marble Queen Pothos, and you don't see people spending $50+ on a Marble Queen Pothos that is in a 6-inch basket. It's difficult for me to see why people would want to spend that much money on a different type of variegated pothos, but to each their own. I just don't see the appeal. And I think that a lot of the reason that people want this plant is because of the hype around it, because it's really not that much more special in my eyes than the other pothos varieties. If you want one, totally go get one. I think they're really beautiful, don't get me wrong, but I also wouldn't be spending a crazy amount of money on it. And I'm also not into pothos, so I'm definitely not going to be purchasing one. You can see though from the photo, it is a very beautiful plant, and the variegation in it is quite unique, but I am a pothos killer, if you don't already know this. I've killed both of the pothos I've ever had, and I'm embarrassed. I've also killed my Scindapsus, so I don't think that that variety completely agrees with me. I think that what my problem is that I'm underwatering, and then I go to water, and I'm like, why isn't it perking up? So I maybe water it again, but sometimes plants can get root rot from being underwatered as well. So who knows? I don't know what went wrong with both of those, but it's okay. I'm fine. I don't even really like them that much. So the last plant on this list is one that I still, again, think is very beautiful. I'm not bashing on the plant itself. It's not what I thought it was going to be, and so it let me down, if that makes sense. I am talking about the burlmarks fantasy, the Philodendron burlmarks fantasy. And I bought this plant as a #1 wish list plant. It was honestly at the top of my wish list for a really long time. And I thought I was going to love it, but it's just not what I thought it was going to be. It doesn't grow as large leaves as I thought it was going to. It doesn't grow as quickly. I put it on a moss pole, and that moss pole did seem to help increase the size of the leaves, but it just wasn't what I expected. So definitely was a little bit let down, but I am actually trading it today for another plant because I didn't want to go out and sell it. These plants are going for actually quite a bit of money right now, and I didn't feel that I wanted to sell that. So I did make a trade, and I'm really excited about that. I will also show you guys that plant in a future video. But yeah, it's hard to say. I don't know exactly where this plant went wrong. I don't think it really went wrong at all. I think that I just painted a picture of this plant that it could not live up to. I also will admit I got sucked into the hype train a little bit on this plant. So to each their own. If you love this plant, go get one. I'm not saying don't get one. I'm just saying personally it was not for me. Do with that what you will. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this video. But if you are not already subscribed, don't forget to click that button down below, and also click the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. If you want some extra content, the link to join as a member is also down below, and so is my merch, if that sounds like something that you are interested in. Also, if you guys want to let me know what kind of videos you want to see from me this year, leave a comment down below and let me know, because I really want to take your suggestions into consideration and make some awesome content for you guys this year. Alright, well that is all from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!